Hello, my name's Lucas Meyer, and this is my workshop on video editing, or my overview of video editing. Now, this is not the actual workshop that was supposed to have happened during the summer gathering in end of May 2026. That turned out to have a whole bunch of technical problems, and I was thinking for the purposes of making this workshop more understandable to people that wanted to watch the video of it afterwards, that I would just simply redo things, start over it, and do things over. So what is it that I'm hoping to show you during this overview of video editing? Well, I can't teach you how to video edit in just an hour and a half. There's just way too much to absorb and to teach and this sort of stuff for that to be even possible. This is something that people can study their entire lives and not know everything about. So instead, I'm going to show you a little bit about the video editing process, types of video editing software that are out there and what they can do, how to avoid editing issues and reduce or even eliminate your editing work, and some cool things that you can do with video editing. And of course, where you can go to learn about it. What I'm hoping you'll get out of this workshop is basically what the editing terrain looks like. A sense of the things that you can do with video editing, an overview of the process involved, the ways you can reduce your video editing work, what kind of software may work for you, depending on what you want to do, and how you can learn to do video editing, and if you get somebody else to do the video editing for you, what to ask for, and what this person is probably going through, so how to get along with this person. Now, let's talk about the video editing process. Video editing the video editing is part of a larger video creation process. It starts with a plan. You like who's the audience, what kind of video am I going to present to them, what is the script, what are the shots, all sorts of things. Then once you have the plan, then you go out and you shoot the video. This usually is the smallest, fastest, and funnest part of the whole process. And then you take that footage, those files, video files that you recorded, and you put them into your editing suite or your post-production process. Now here I'm lumping video editing and post-production together. Post-editing is really part of post-production. There's other things like making of graphics, color grading, numerous other things that other parts of the post-production process. But those things usually can be done to a certain extent within your video editing software. So for our purposes, I'm lumping the whole thing together. So anyway, you edit your video, and when you're done editing your video, you press export video, and hopefully out pops a lovely finished video. Now, there's one more step that people sometimes forget about. I put it in kind of gray down here, but distributing and promoting your video, getting people to actually see it. And this, for me, this is to be honest, this is one of the most difficult parts of the whole thing. It's easy to create a video, but then it's another thing altogether to get people to see it. So the reason it's important to know that video editing is part of this process is that all the mistakes that you're going to make during planning and shooting your video are probably going to get into your editing of the video. So if there's something that you didn't plan for properly, if there's something you didn't shoot well properly, or shoot properly, then you're going to have to deal with it in video editing. and that's painful. And also, if you want to distribute your video and get people to see it, that also has to be part of the planning process right from the start. And it, of course, that flows into what you shoot, how you shoot it, and the editing you do, and so forth. So, everything influence other things outside of video editing influence video editing. It's important to know that it's part of an entire process. Now, what does the video editing do in the process? Well, basically, you're taking all the files that you recorded, the video files, the images, the photos, the sound files, and you import them into that video editing software that you have. And then you have your plan, of course, whatever your storyline, your script, your shot list, whatever it is. You probably have that beside you while you're editing, and any extra text or anything that you want to add as part of your plan, or any graphics or whatnot that you want to add as part of your plan. That's probably something you plan to do in the video editing process too. So you take the files and you take your plan, and then you start building. You build a video inside the video editing process, and when you're done, you hit export, and out pops the finished video. Now, the video editing itself, it can be very simple on one end or very complicated. There's a huge range there. So on the less complicated side, you may just trim the video. So say you've gotten up and you set up a camera, you turned it on, you sat down, you tuned your guitar, then you played your song, and then you had a quick discussion with your friends about whether the song was good or not, or whether you should do it over. And then, oh my God, I forgot to turn off the camera. So you turn off the camera, and then you've got this footage. It's got all this junk from when you were setting up and tuning at the beginning, and all this junk at the end, and you want to trim that off. And so that's a very normal and simple video editing operation. And but then you might want to create a song with a music video with a complete storyline. Maybe there's a love story or something, and boy meets girl, they go out together, a whole bunch of shots. And so you have this plan for the story, and you gather all the footage that you need for this plan, and then you arrange it into a storyline in the video edit and create a video out of it. And then another thing you might want to do is you might have multiple cameras. Say you're filming a big concert, and so you've got a camera that covers the entire musical group. Then you've got a camera on the lead singer. Then you've got a camera on that guitarist, and then a camera on the bass player, and then a camera on the drummers. So you've got all these different cameras, and maybe a camera getting reactions from the audience. You've got all these cameras, and so you film it. You turn all the cameras on. The band plays their concert or their song, and then afterwards you've got all this footage that needs to be synced up, and all this switching between cameras that has to happen. Well, the video editing software can do that for you too. And then there's synchronization. Okay, you have a separate sound recording, straight from the sound guy, separate from the video. You got to sync them up. Something you can do in video editing. You can correct or improve sound. You can correct color. Yeah, you can reframe the video. You can add images or photos or more videos of things. You can add sounds. You can add graphics and much, much more. So there's a whole ton of things you can do in video editing to produce that and put into that final video. So let's have a demo of just sort of like a normal video editing software and just see what that's like. So this is a typical editor. Now this is Final Cut Pro. This is the editor that I use, and I'd like to show you the major sections of this editor. So over here, you've got the browser section. So you've got in this, if you can see my my pointer here over in the top left of your screen, you can see that there's a number of folders here. If we click on the song swap folder, you can see within the folder we've got a project. This is basically a video of the that we're working on here, and here's the source video that we've taken from the song swap, and you can see I can scroll through it. Here we've got two viewers. We've got a viewer where we can see what's going on in the project or whatever it is we're looking at, a main viewer, but we've also got this little viewer here to see the clips themselves in our browser. So we have the original video. This video is now put into a song swap video, and so you can see the song swap video and all the people singing and whatnot, and me talking and yada yada yada. So so anyway, say that we want to do this person's song. So let's see, say we just want to trim this video, and just rather than having, well, let me copy the video first. So I'm going to take this song swap video, and we're going to duplicate the project. Boom. And so you see song swap video 1, and I'm going to change this to person's individual song. Okay, so there we go. We got a person's individual song. And so we want to take this lady's individual song here, and let's see. So when she's going to start singing, she's waving her hands around. Oh, there she's starting to play. Okay, so she's starting to play here.
Puerto Rican, there's Jewish people, because the Lower East Side always had Jewish people and a lot of other people. Anyway.
Okay, so she's going to start singing here. So you see, this is the timeline down here with that has the project on it. So we've got the browser, we've got the viewer over here in the middle, so we can see what we're doing. We've got the timeline. We've got a cursor on the timeline, and we've set this cursor right in front of where this lady is about to sing. And what we'll do is we'll just split the video right here where she starts to sing, and then we'll just she sings. Okay, and then it looks like she's done. So
mention was,
yeah, so just a second.
The children of our earth.
So we'll just jump ahead a little bit here.
Took her money and...
Okay, hang on.
And what?
Okay, so it looks like it stops right in around here. So I'm going to put another break in here. Whoop. I'm going to change the length of the break. Okay, so we've got the song that starts here. So so basically we've broken this one big clip into 3 clips. A clip before this lady starts to sing, a clip of the lady singing, and then everything that comes after. And we just want this one lady singing. So what we'll do is we'll delete. I'm going to do a delete of all the stuff that came before. I'm going to do a delete of everything that came after. And here we have just the lady singing.
Oh, green roof, you're not just a space. Oh, I forgot the one last thing that's important. Is they said, the theme.
Oh, okay. So maybe we want to adjust this a little bit because she forgot something. Okay.
That they have a green roof.
Okay,
that helps the call it. So the twine did not tangle.
Sorry, just a second here.
Saddle choose to sing. The theme is for this location.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop that. I'm just going to make this a little bigger so I can see what I'm doing. So it looks like she starts her song here. So she's
As
talking.
knowledgeable.
You watch where the cursor is down here.
Sorry, here we go.
Okay, so it looks like she's actually going to start here. So I'm just going to adjust the end of this clip right there. So it starts where she starts.
Oh.
Okay, and I'm just going to check at the end to make... There, and maybe add a little bit more there. Yeah, okay, so we've got just her song now. So this is a pretty typical editing project, in that you take a big piece of video and you cut out some singing, a particular person singing, or you have a video of a particular person singing, and you trim the front and the end off just to have that one person's song, right? So this is a pretty typical thing, and there's a ton of editors that will do that for you. You don't need Final Cut Pro. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on a tablet with, you can do it on YouTube. There's plenty of places. So that's something that video editing can do for you, is trim the ends of the video. Now let's create a new video folder. So I'm going to, we call folders in Final Cut Pro events. So I'm going to create an event, and I'm going to call the event Stop Pipelines. Nope. Okay. And okay, so we've got, and I'm going to click on the Stop Pipelines, and they've got they create a new project for you when you create a new folder. You get a new project automatically. That's something that happens in Final Cut Pro. So anyway, I'm going to import some video. So let me just find demo videos. Okay, we'll take these demo files here. No, I think we'll just import these alone. So I'm going to just import these videos. And so I've imported now a whole bunch of video clips, and you can see that there's a clip here of my arrest at a protest. This is not actually over pipelines. It was actually over saving trees. But anyway, we've got the timeline down here with the project on it. And as I say, like, I'd like to, this should, let's see. Well, just a second here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new project, and then it will ask me, and I'm going to call this new project Stop Pipelines here. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes my pointer doesn't, I should be able to double click on this untitled project and change the project name, but it doesn't seem to be letting me for some reason. So I'm going to move that to the trash. I'm going to go to my Stop Pipelines video. Oh, here, it's letting me do it now. Hang on. Okay. And I'm going to call this Stop, just so that we know what it is, we're going to call this Stop Pipelines video. And you can see down here, the title of the timeline is now Stop Pipelines video. So this is a video project. And I'm going to take my arrest video, which you see appears here in the viewer. I'm just going to grab the whole thing, and I'm going to plunk it on the timeline. And now I'm going to press Shift Z, which is going to expand it so I can see it better. And we'll take a look at them. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll through.
Supreme Court. Be informed by you blockading this roadway and preventing Teal Cedar and their contractors from...
Okay, so that's boring. Let's move more towards the end where the arrest happens.
They're not working here.
They are working.
Where?
Yes.
Oh, and here he comes. He's coming up to arrest me.
Okay.
Injunction says if you...
You're under arrest.
Okay, there I'm arrested. Okay, so let's trim away all this boring stuff here. We just want we just want the cop making the arrest, okay? So I'm going to put the cursor at this point where he comes to arrest me. I'm going to go Command B, which will split this clip into 2 clips. You see, so now rather than so now this clip has become 2 clips, and I'm going to delete the first part of the clip. Now the whole clip still is up here, right? But now what's happened is the timeline is only referencing the last bit of it. So if you scroll through here to about here, where he's about to come up and arrest me, here you can see, okay, so here he comes, and I'm just going to hit input here, which means that only this bit's selected. So you see this yellow square here, that's basically the bit that of this total thing, of this total video, that the timeline is referencing. So it starts here, and then it ends here with the arrest.
Okay.
There's the
You're under arrest.
So there's the arrest. Okay, so now we want to let's see what else we've got here. We've got a beautiful shot of nature, Bridal Veil Falls here. We've got Bridal Veil Falls at a distance, and then we've got pictures of the evil pipeline that they're trying to build. This is Lytton, BC. It's a symbol of the effects of global warming. It set the all-time high temperature for Canada of 49.6 degrees Celsius, which is about 121 degrees Fahrenheit. And then it burnt to the ground the day after. It hasn't been fixed since. It's just lying there, a dead community, totally destroyed by fire induced by global warming. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with some beautiful shots. Now you see I've selected this yellow bit here of the waterfall falling, and so I'm going to have a few beautiful shots of nature, waterfalls, and all this lovely stuff. And then I'm going to have some shots of the terrible pipeline. And then what I'm going to do, okay, so this is a shot of the waterfall, but I want an establishing shot of the waterfall from a distance. So we see it set in nature there. Okay, so I'm going to put an in point here, and maybe an out point here, go out. And then I'm going to grab this small section out of here. So now the whole video still exists. It hasn't, but there's an in point and an out point. So on the timeline, what's happening here is we've the editing software sees that I want this clip to start here in the video. So it will grab this section of video, and it will plunk this section of video from this small section of video from the larger video, and it will plunk it in here, and then we'll have some a close up of the beautiful falls, and then we're going to go and we're going to do we're going to show the pipeline again. We're going to have an establishing shot of the pipeline, so I'm going to have an input. And let's see, actually it kind of cuts on its own, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, so we'll stick that in here, and you see I've pulled down this section that I selected. I pulled it down, and what's happened is when I wanted to insert it in here, I just pushed it down here, and the editing software was smart. It just pushed this other one aside, and it just stuck this in the middle because it could see I was pushing to wedge it in between these two other clips here. So this is a little bit long, so I'm going to cut this down to about 2 seconds. So I'm going to put a break point in here, and then when this switches over, I'm going to put a break point in here, and then I'm going to follow this along a little bit, and I think I'm going to just grab this and I'm going to cut this down like this, and now I'm going to grab some more footage of pipeline. Maybe here. So I'm going to put an input here, endpoint here, and maybe an out point there. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to slide this in here. Now this is all drone footage here that you see. So there's no sound, and this has no sound either. Some of this is drone footage as well. So there's no sound here. So so basically I'm going to come back and I'm going to cover that with music later, and we'll see if we can make a decent video of it. Now I don't want you to worry about too much about how I actually do this. I'm just trying to show you the concept of, okay, we're taking the input files here, we're taking sections of them, we're taking clips out of these files, which means we're taking referencing sections of them, and we're putting the clips in this timeline, which is really a video that we're creating. So we call these in Final Cut projects, but really these end up, this is what ends up being a video. And so I'm taking these clips that I define here, and I'm arranging them on the timeline, and so that they'll tell a little bit of a story. So anyway, so we've got so the story is we've got the beautiful waterfall, a couple of shots, and then we've got a shot of the pipeline snaking through the beautiful wilderness, and then the ugly pipeline seen from above, and then seen from ground level what it looks like. And maybe that's enough. We'll just do like 4 seconds of it or so. And then we have the arrest, and then we'll end on Lytton. Here we'll show the town of Lytton. Here, just a second, I'm just going to stick that in here, and we'll show like well, I guess 3 or 4 seconds of Lytton. I'll put a break point right in here, and boom, and then I'm going to chop off the rest, and so that will be our video. Over here you can also add music, you can add text. So I'm going to add some text for a title, some text or some titles for a message. So I'm going to put the titles in here, and so I'm going to take the basic 3D text, boom, like this, and so and it says basic 3D on it. There is another thing here, and we call this in Final Cut the inspector. In other softwares it can have different names, but this allows you to change attributes. And so one of the attributes that it allows you to change is the text itself. So you can see we've got basic 3D written here. We're going to take that out, and we're going to type in stop pipelines, our environmental message, boom, 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 with 3. And let's see, so there we are. And there's other attributes. You can change things change things about this particular piece of text. And one of the attributes I want you to show you that you can change is you can change the opacity, how see-through it is. So I'm going to make this. You can see it's kind of now see-through, but what I'm thinking is it's better that it's solid. So I'm going to move that back up. But you see, when I make it see-through, when a person looks down this way and they see the stop pipeline messages first, and then the video beneath it of the destroyed town. If you make this less opaque and more see-through, you'll be able to see through. Can you all see that? I hope you can see that. So I'm making it see-through by lowering, and you can make it almost disappear completely, and you can. So there's attributes like that you can change. There's also attributes to do with how the pipeline, the text is presented. So here there's a build in and build out. So what happens is if these are checked, what happens is the text will fly in like this, and it will stop. That's the build in, and then it will fly out again. So that's the build in and build out. And if I turn these two check boxes off here, what will happen is it just comes in and it goes out. But I kind of like it flying in and flying out, so I'm going to put the check boxes back on again like that, and so we'll see it fly in and fly out. Okay, there we go. Also, there's music clips and sound effects that you can add, and so there is some music that actually comes with the sound effects. One that I like is this playful sound here. So this is what this clip sounds like. Seeing that we don't have any sound here, I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to, hang on, just a second here. We want the input. Okay, I'm going to grab this and pull this down. There we go. And I'm going to stretch it out, and then I'm going to soften it. And it's because it's background music, I'm going to reduce the level of it. So I'm going to cut it down a bit so it's a little bit softer. So it's hard to see. Let's see. So if we look at sound, so yeah, it's minus 18 dB. There's a handle here. I can move the sound up and down a bit here. But you can also change it in the inspector over here, which is, I think in this case, a little easier. So we'll just turn it down a bit, maybe minus 6 dB. And so now let's take a look at our video. So we've got the beautiful waterfall, and the pipelines ripping through this nice area. Here's the ugly pipeline.
Okay.
And then here's my rest. So now we've got this little video story with this lovely jingle with it. Now up in the right hand corner here, again, don't get too caught up in how I do things on this particular editing software and where things are in this particular editing software, which is Final Cut Pro, because that can move around and change places with different software programs, and there's like hundreds of different software programs out, so don't get too caught up in that. But anyway, at a certain point, when you think you've completed the project, you want to make a finished copy of it, you can export it. And so that's what I'm going to do now. So let's now export the thing. Okay, and so we're going to create an HD video here. We're going to go next. The video is going to be called Stop Pipelines Video, and we're going to save it to the desktop, and we go save, and boom, you can see over here with the progress bar in the top left here that it's creating the video, and in a few seconds we should have a finished video. Okay, boom. Okay, so here's the video. So I'm just going to play it. expand it to.
Okay. You're under arrest.
Okay, so that was our first video editing project. And let me just go back. So we took just to reiterate what we just did, we took the files in the browser. We had folders that we put the files in our projects in. In the folders we created projects which really are just videos, and then we imported a whole bunch of files to put in our video that we were making, the Stop Pipelines video here. We imported all these files. We took clips of those files, little reference sections that the program knows to reference, which we call clips. And we adjusted the size of the clips and we arranged them on the timeline here. And we added some text. And then when we were done, and also we've got kind of like three browsers here. In this browser here where we have music and Apple TV and sound effects, we went to the sound effects folder. We found this playful song, and we added it as a musical background for what was going on and for our video. And then when we were done, we went over here and we exported the file. And so this is how Final Cut Pro does things. In different editors, it will be different. But they'll all have some version of the timeline, the browser, the viewer, and an inspector, or some place where you can change things around, change settings and attributes of the various clips and items that you're working with. Now, I've shown you a little bit about Final Cut Pro, but there are tons of video editing softwares out there and video editing systems. And unfortunately, they're all different, So learning one doesn't necessarily, becoming an expert in one doesn't necessarily make you an expert in all of them. But let me show you some of the options out there, just to give you a feel for it. So if you're editing on a Mac, of course your Mac will probably come with iMovie, which is free. And this is a very simple and easy to learn editing software. I don't use it because I use Final Cut, but many people use it, and it's just fine for them. Then if you want a more professional grade software, there's Final Cut Pro. It will cost you about $299. That's one single payment. There's also DaVinci Resolve. There's a free version that you can use, but it's basically a demo version. Is pretty brain damaged. If you want to do anything serious, you're going to want to buy it, which is will set you back $295. And then there's there's Adobe Premiere Pro for Mac, and Adobe Premiere Pro is an industry standard, so it's used all over the place. But that one will have a yearly subscription of $239.88. So at least there's other subscriptions you can have that may cost you more, but this is the entry level for Adobe Premiere Pro, and so those are some options that you've got on Mac. On the Windows side, if you're editing on a Windows computer, you've got so many options. It's hard to know where to start. So I went on the internet and I found a list of 10 of the most popular ones, but they're probably like 100. I used to work with Pinnacle, and it's not even mentioned here, and I found it actually very good. But anyway, again, if you look, you'll see Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a multi-platform. It works on Macs, it works on Windows, it works on Linux, and various other places. You also have DaVinci Resolve, which is multi-platform. And so you've got two professional grade softwares on Windows, but you also have Shotcut, which is an open source and zero cost editor with no watermarks or subscriptions. So you've got them at the cheap end as well. So you've got a range there. But you say you don't even have a computer. Well, you can still do video editing. So say you set up your camera, you sang your song, and you switch off your camera, and now you want to trim that video. Well, there may be software right within the camera that will allow you to do that and to fix the color and adjust the sound and do all sorts of things. So check your manual just to see. So you might be able to do in-camera video editing. There's also, if you record on a cell phone, there will definitely be video editing software that you can use to trim or adjust the color and do other simple things. Now, you wouldn't want to make like a feature film on either of these video editing software. It'd be pretty in your camera or on your cell phone. It'd be pretty much impossible. But for very simple editing tasks, there's something for you there. And there's some excellent YouTube videos, like this one here on how to edit on an iPhone. So I'm just going to play part of that briefly so that you can see it, and it will explain pretty much the whole process in about 2 minutes flat. So let's watch that now.
Step by step, let me show you exactly how it works. And if this is your first time here on Foxtecc, make sure you subscribe so you never miss anything important. So the first step is to have your video ready. So, you open up the Photos app and locate the video which we want to trim. So you can click on it to make it go full screen, and then tap on the button below. It is this edit button with like 3 lines and like these controls button type of thing. You click on it, and that's how you can go to the edit mode. So the edit consists of multiple different categories. For example, you can make the video muted, right, by clicking the mute button, or you can tap on some filters in here and apply a different filter to the effect, or click on adjust and change things like the highlights, shadows, and all of those indicators, like different parts of the image might be changed and adjusted. But if you specifically want to trim the footage, meaning that you make the video like shorter by cutting out some parts of the shot, you can click on the video button below, and you can see we have a little timeline below. So now we either grab the left edge or the right edge and slide it toward the middle. So you can see exactly how the footage changes, because we basically remove some parts of the clip and only keep the one selected in the yellow window. So that's how you can trim the videos on the iPhone, and now all you have to do is just to click on a done to make sure that the video gets saved. This gives us 2 options. We can either apply the changes to the original video and change it this way, or we can create a new copy with the changes applied, making sure that we have 2 videos. One is the original and the second one is going to be the trimmed version. So it depends on how you want to have it. That's how you decide. But this is essentially all that I wanted to show you in this video. I really hope that I can help you out with it. In case of any questions, you can leave them below in the comments. It's possible I'll make an updated video about this to address it. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you later in the future videos as well.
But you can also edit on YouTube. There's a program called YouTube Studio that you can use to edit your videos once you put them up on YouTube. So you can put the whole thing up and on YouTube, and then you click on your ID, and this drop down window appears. You can choose YouTube Studio, and then YouTube Studio pops up. You click Content, and then the list of all your video files shows up, and then you can select a particular video file, and then once that's up, you'll have an editor where you can change the the title or the description or the thumbnail. But also, if you look along the side here, there's an option to turn on an editor. So you click that, and the editor pops up, and you can trim your video there, or you can blur it, or you can adjust the audio, or this is a special feature of YouTube Studio. You can add an end screen, which is a little square at the end of the video that will allow the user to click on it and go to your next video or another video that you want them to look at. So you've got editing options on YouTube as well via YouTube Studio. So now let's talk about how to avoid editing issues and reduce or even eliminate editing work. Because let's face it, editing makes your life a nightmare. So recall again that video editing is part of a process, and because video editing is the last stop before you get to a video, so you basically build the video in the video edit, and you hit export, and boom, that's your video file. So video editing is the last stop, and therefore that's where the buck stops. Any error that cropped up during the planning process or shooting or video editing, any error at all that you want fixed has to be fixed before you hit export and create that video. And so if you make mistakes in planning or make mistakes in shooting, there's a tendency for those mistakes to flow into your editing process and make your life hell. So, so unresolved problems in planning and shooting need to be fixed in the edit. And it is 10 times, in my opinion, 10 times, maybe 100 times harder to fix a mistake during editing as it is to avoid it in planning and production. So I can't stress enough, avoid this mentality of, oh, we'll fix it in post, because that's the worst place to try to fix a problem. And what's going to happen is you're going to wind up like this fellow here, basically screaming into the void as you try to fix things. Don't do it. So avoiding errors in planning and production. Okay. So the first thing I have to suggest is know what it is you're going to film. Know who your audience is going to be and what kind of video you're going to present to them. Know the script or the program of the concert. Know where people are going to be that you're going to film and what they're going to be doing so that you can film them properly and get good sound from them and keep them in focus. And next, the next important thing is to make really sure that you've got good lighting and sound, because these are very hard to fix in editing and post-production. The lighting and the image have to be really good, and the sound has to be really good. And when people move around, and they will, that lighting, that focus, and that sound should all stay good. You know, you don't want somebody walking out of the spotlight into the darkness. You don't, if the mic's over here and they're talking to somebody over there, they turn away and suddenly you can't hear them. You don't want that, okay? So know how people are going to move, and make sure that the lighting, the sound, and the focus stay good when they move. Also, an important suggestion I have is test your setup. Test the sound and your camera. And if possible, record a little bit of video and play it back to see how the video is and how the sound is. And then finally, the piece of advice I've got is make sure the camera is turned on before the show starts. I always wanted to, when I started out, and I still do actually. I have this tendency to want to start the video camera for some reason right when the show starts. But when you do that, it's so easy to get distracted or get caught off guard and miss the start of the show. And when you do that, it's a big problem, because that first introduction that goes on, that first note that the band plays or the singer sings, is important. You don't want to miss that. So my suggestion is, and particularly if you've got a bunch of cameras, turn the cameras on first. Because if you've got a bunch of cameras, it's particularly important because it will take you a while to go around and turn them all on. So maybe do that like 5 minutes before the show start. You'll thank me for it. Now, avoiding sound problems. Good sound is very important in video. Crappy sound will ruin a video. People will notice it right away. And bad sound is extremely hard to fix in editing. It takes time to improve bad sound, and usually it can't be fixed completely. If you go in with bad sound, you can make it a bit better, but it will still wind up sounding not so good. Try to ensure that you record good sound. And here are some tips. The first one is get those microphones as close to the subject as you can. And also try to reduce extraneous noises like ventilators, traffic, and so forth. So try to get, like if there's going to be a speaker and they're going to be moving around, get a lavalier on them, one of those portable mics that will follow them around as they turn so you don't lose the sound. If they're a singer, make sure that they're right up to the mic and singing into it so you can hear them over the sound of the rest of the band. And try to reduce those extraneous noises, the ventilators, the traffic. Listen to the room when it's quiet. Maybe there's a door that's open that's letting a lot of hallway noise or traffic noise into the room that you're recording in. Maybe you want to shut that door. Maybe you want to close a window that's letting a lot of noise in, and maybe you want to turn off a ventilator or some sort of electronic system that's making some sort of humming or buzzing sound or something. Also, when you put the mics up close, just beware that their breathing sounds and certain sounds that people make while speaking can be bad. Let's put it that way. The P's, for example, the letter P will pop. So you say P, and it will sometimes make a really a popping sound in the microphone, which is bad. So maybe set the microphone a little bit beside. In this instance, you see in this photograph, there's a little bit of a shield here that will protect the mic from popping P's and breathing on the mic and so forth. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, setting the levels correctly is important. And over here, you can see that when the level's too high, it hits the top or clips, as they say in the sound world, and so it hits the maximum that the recording device can record or transmit, and so that top of that sound wave just gets chopped right off, and it will sound very tinny. It's definitely a very bad thing. So you don't want the sound to be turned up too high to avoid that clipping, but you don't want it too low either, because if the sound is too low, then ventilators and humming and buzzing sometimes of the sound equipment itself will get relatively more significant, and so if you've got a loud hum from the camera recording itself, and the voice is too soft, and you turn up the voice, to get the voice up to where it should be, well, that hum will get louder too. And so that can be very hard to fix. So you want the sound to be just right. There's a Goldilocks zone where you're not hitting the top, but you're well above the what we call the noise floor, or the room sounds, basically. Now, there's also image problems. You can have problems with lighting. It can be too dark, it can be washed out, too bright, or it can be just right. And I think this lady here is just right. Maybe the side of the face is what we say is a little bit too hot. It's a little bit too bright. So maybe it might be an idea in this case to turn down the light a little bit on this side of her face. But this is generally well lit. And then there's also framing. So this lady's well framed. Here the lady's doing the disembodied head thing, where she's where she's basically sort of down at the very bottom of the screen, and there's too much headroom up above. So you want to make sure that the person is well framed and well lit. Now, there's also something else that people may not be aware of, and that's white balance or color temperature. Now, in sunlight, the sunlight is a little bit blue. The photosphere of the sun has a temperature of about 5,600 degrees Kelvin, which produces a slightly bluish color of white light. On the other hand, when you go indoors, you have a tungsten light bulb, one of those old tungsten light bulbs. That tungsten heats up to about 3,200 degrees Kelvin to produce that produces a more reddish light. So you can see here that in the example, you've got a lady with a bluish light on. She's looking kind of blue. Then on the other hand, she's indoors now and she's looking red. And here, and the final one is, this is normal as our eyes see it. Now the thing is, okay, well, I've been outside before, I've been indoors before. Why have I never noticed that somebody looks blue outside and looks red inside? Well, our eyes and our brains correct for this immediately in real time, so we don't notice it. And so you may be filming and setting up your camera and you think everything's okay, but the camera, if it's not set properly, won't compensate for the blue or the red light. And things, when you bring it back into the editing suite, it won't look normal. Now you can maybe correct it a bit in the editing suite, but it is hard. You want to get that white balance, that color balance right, correct when you film, because you don't want to be fixing it in post, believe me. So, but still, the good news is though that if you make all these mistakes, there's things you can do about them in editing. You can reduce the bad sound. There's software that will help you with the clipping. There's other software that will help you reduce noise, background noise. You can boost the gain if you've got poor lighting. You can maybe reframe the video a bit. If the video was badly framed, you can adjust the color if the white balance was off. You can solve many problems. But the bad news is you're going to be screaming if you try. So as I say, like my strong recommendation is that you don't. You try to fix as much as you can in planning and production. You don't let errors go into post. Now, you can avoid editing altogether in some cases. And seeing that editing is kind of evil, this is something that you want to do. So for instance, what people talk to me a lot about is, okay, I sang this song in a song swap. I want to cut out just my videos so I can send it off to people and show it to them. You know, what can I do? And of course, you can do that through video editing. You take the whole file and you trim off the stuff, all the stuff before your song and all the stuff after, and then you create a video. But you don't actually have to do that. You can go to the video itself, you can click on it, and you can advance the video to where your song starts, right where you'd want that video to start. And then you can right click on the video, and over here you can see it. There's this drop down menu will appear, and right in the middle of it you'll see an option that says copy video URL at current time. And so what will happen when you click on that is you'll get a special URL. It will be the regular URL, but it will have a question mark and t equals some time. I'm trying to point that out. I know it's very small here, but you'll see that t equals, in this case, 775 seconds. And so if you send that URL to your friends, or you embed it on your website or whatever, the video will pop up and it will start right at that point where you wanted it to start, at the start of your video, at the start of your song. So that's a way to basically circumvent having to edit anything at all. Just send them a link that points them straight at where you want the video to start. Now, there's another thing you can do. You can hire somebody to do the video editing for you. But the trouble is that you're going to find that this is very expensive. I pulled up some current rates here, and for beginners it's like 25 to a beginner editor, it will cost you like 25 to 45 an hour. An intermediate one will be like 50 to 85. An expert will be like 95 to 135, and a specialist will be like 150 to $250 an hour. That's a lot of money. And if you don't plan properly, and if you make mistakes in the filming process, oh boy, are the hours going to rack up. And is that going to cost you a lot of money? It's going to cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars to fix things. So again, it's more important than ever that you that if you hire somebody, that you plan your video properly and you shoot it properly. And then another thing you can do is you can get a friend that knows video editing to do your video editing for you. And but you've got to keep in mind that video editing, it can be very difficult and time consuming, and it can strain relationships, you know. So again, it's important to plan the video properly, avoid mistakes, and avoid wasting your friend's time. And if your friend's not being paid to do this, that probably means that he wants or she wants some sort of mental paycheck. So there the promotion and the distribution is also important, because if they spend their entire weekend indoors in their basement editing your bloody video, and then nobody watches it, like, what's the point? It's like that's a wasted weekend that they'll never get back. So you want to avoid situations where you're asking your friend to edit a video that nobody's ever going to watch, right? So there's some things you need to watch out for there too. Now, I'd like to show you some really cool things that you can do with video editing. I'll just go over them briefly, and then I'm going to show you in the video editor how they can be done. The first one is the multicam edit. And so this is kind of like a classic one here, where you've got maybe an interviewer on one side of a table and an interviewee on the other side of the table, and you've got three cameras filming them all at once. The middle camera is filming both of them together. The B cam is a close up on the interviewer, and the A cam is a close up on the subject or the interviewee. And so you can start with maybe a wide shot of the two of them sitting together, and the interviewer says, "Hello, I'd like to welcome our guest so and so," and this sort of stuff. And then you have a quick shot of the guest saying, "Oh, hi, how are you?" and this sort of stuff. And then you flip back to the interviewer, who then asks a question, and then the camera flips over to the interviewee, who answers the question, and then on and on it goes from there. So I'm going to show you how that can be done in Final Cut Pro. And then there's green screen or masking or other similar techniques. So that can be done so that you can have yourself maybe playing your guitar and singing in the foreground, and what you're singing about or what you're concerned about in the background behind you. And so this is exactly what Ben Grosscup did in one of his videos, and I've got a link to it right here if you're following along in the slides. So, and then finally there's like transitions, there's looks, and there's effects. There's all sorts of cool and wonderful things that you can do to jazz up your video. So let's have a look at that. We're back in Final Cut Pro, and if you look in the top left-hand corner, the first thing I'm going to do is create a new folder, or event as we call it in Final Cut Pro. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to call this multicam. Boom. And then we're going to go into multicam, and I'm going to import a bunch of files. Just give me a second here. So we're going to import files, and we're going to look at, it's under demo folders. And I did a poem shot from 4 different angles called The Tagger by William Blake. So I'm going to import that. And so in they come. Okay, so you can see I've got, let's see, a front view here. So if we look, there I am.
What mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful samurai?
Okay, so there's the front view, and here's the side view.
Fine work.
So that's the side view. So I've got a camera running at the same time as at the side. I've got my cell phone set up to shoot
depths or skies.
So I've got the cell phone set up looking down on me, and I've got looking up. You see, there I am. So looking up at me, I've got another camera. So I've got 4 cameras. One looking straight on ahead, one looking straight on ahead here, one looking from the side, one looking top down, and one looking top up. Now what I want to do is I want to sync all these different files up, all these different views up, and then switch between them. So how can I do that? Well, it turns out that in Final Cut Pro, and this is something that is particular to Final Cut Pro, it's particularly good at doing this, you can create what's called a multicam clip that will allow you to sync everything up. So we're going to do that. I've selected all 4 of my different clips. Oh, hang on just a second here. And so if I right click on that, you can see new multicam clip. So if I click on that, and then it's going to sync up using the audio sound. So I'm going to press OK, and then I wait. Boom, 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 boom. And then if I go in here, so you see I've got this new multicam clip, and it says untitled multicam clip. But anyway, we'll click inside, and you can see that I've got all these different views, and if you look at the sound, they're all synced up on sound. You see that? They're all in sync, and they're all running parallel to each other in a single clip. Okay, so what am I going to do with that? Well, oh, hang on. Let's just see if I can change the name. No, it's not letting me change the name. Okay, well, we'll just use, well, we'll create a new project. It'll just make it easier. So I'm going to make a new project. The project is going to be called multi cam Tiger poem. And back in William Blake's day, they spelt Tiger with a Y, I guess. So that's just how things are. And it's not bad spelling; it's old spelling. So let's click OK. Boom. Okay. So now I'm just going to get rid of the untitled project. So let's move that to trash. Okay. So we've got the new title. We got the new multicam Tiger poem. There we are. Multicam. Tiger, and I'm going to take the multicam clip and I'm going to put it down here on the timeline. Boom. So, okay, now gee whiz, what do I do with that? Well, if I go over here to view and I click on view, they've got this option called angles. So I'm going to click on angles and suddenly you'll see all these four views come up. You see you've got the bottom view, the front view, the side view, and the top view all coming up. I'm going to make the, now this is the size of the viewer. I'm going to make the size of the viewer a little smaller so I can see the whole thing at once. There we go. So this is at 50%. And so as I scroll through this, you can see everything's in sync, you see? So we're going to sync it up. Oh, I think that's where it starts. Just a second. Let's just play this.
Burning bright.
Aha, that is where it starts. Okay, so I'm going to, you see I put my cursor here. I'm going to trim off this bit here. So I'm going to go Command, whoop, just a second. I'm going to line that up on there. Go Command B, boom. So we've made this first piece of junk, into a junky clip, and then I just select it and make it go away. So now,
burning bright in the forests of the night, what mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful samurai?
Oh dear, that sound is not what I like. But fortunately, you can't see it here, but in the front view, I'm wearing a lavalier. And the lavalier mic is being picked up by the side view camera. So what I'm going to, so it's probably going to have the best sound. So you can select the angle here in the drop-down menu, and I'm going to go for active audio angle. I'm going to select Tiger Poem side view. Boom. Okay, now let's listen. Oh, you see how that jumped up a bit with the line? It's got a bit better. It's gotten a little bit too hot here, but it's better throughout. Now let's listen to that.
Tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful samurai?
Okay, well that's a bit better. Okay, but let's just select this. I'm going to go over here. Now I'm just getting the sound quality up. Now I can increase the loudness, and that will sort of increase everything and even it up a bit. And here where it's going a little bit too hot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in basically a special point here, boink, boink, and maybe up here as well, boink, boink, and I'm going to pull this down a bit. There we are. So we don't see those, you don't see those clipped tops. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Boink, boink, 2 points, boink, boink, like that. So you see I've got 4 of these. And if I grab that bar right in the middle, right there, I can pull that whole bar down a bit. All right. There we go. That's too far. Just a bit. Okay, to get rid of those tops. And then there's just one more here. Oh, just a second here. I'll get rid of this, and I'm going to go Shift Z, which makes this whole thing a bit bigger, and it will make this a little easier to see. So here again, I'm going to go I'm going to, basically I go option click on the bar here, on the volume bar, and I'm going to just pull these down just a bit. Boink, boink. Okay, and I'm going to just pull this down there to there. So now I've gotten rid of all the red tops, maybe except for this one here. I'm going to zoom in on this one and just see if I can well, that's yellow. Maybe it's not so bad. What I'll do is I'm just going to do 3 boing like that, boing like that, and then 1 right in the middle, and then I'm going to grab that middle one and I'm just going to pull it down just a bit. -3. Okay, there we go. So we're not blowing out the top. Okay, and then I'm going to go Shift Z so that the whole thing is visible at once. So when I go Shift Z in Final Cut Pro, what happens is the entire, you can see the entire timeline at once, and so it will fill up this whole space. So if it's short like it was before, then it will expand. If it's too long, it will shrink down. But one way or another, it will expand, so it just fills up the entire timeline here. Okay. And so where does it come?
Samurai.
Okay, so it ends here. So I'm going to trim at this end. Okay, so we're going to go basically Command B to clip it again, and then we're going to select the new clip that we've just cut off, and we're going to go delete, and that's going to make it disappear. Okay. So there we go. So we've got a multicam clip now of the entire poem, and if I double click on it and you look inside, you can see all the clips inside, still there and still all lined up. And so let's go. We'll click this little arrow here to get back out, and there we are. We're back out on the timeline again. And so then what I can do is I can start playing this. Now, I think we're going to start off with everything in front view. So there's the front view right there. Oh, so it will all be front view. Okay, so we'll start off in front view, and we'll listen to it.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night.
Oh, hang on. Now, to get a multicam clip to run quickly enough, I need to generate a special kind of file called a proxy file or proxy files. So but that's going to take some time. So I'm going to go away. I'm just going to take a quick break and do that. And when that's done, hopefully everything will run. You'll see everything running perfectly in sync. Okay, I'm back. Let's give this multicam clip a shot and just see what it does.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night. What mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful samurai?
If you look at the side view camera, I'm having what the Shakespeareans would call an aside, where I say something under my breath about what's going on in the script. So just by clicking on this, you see I can switch to the side view camera. So let's play the aside.
I know it says symmetry here, but my teacher in high school told me that we had to say samurai in order to make the rhyme work. So I'm just gonna go for it. Okay.
So now I turn back to front view. So we're going to click and we're going to go back to front view.
In what distant depths or skies burns the fury of thine eyes?
Oh, side. We're going to turn back to I'm turning
What
sideways.
wings dare he aspire? What the hand there sees the
So
fire?
I just switched.
What the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What dread clasp would dare its deadly terrors clasp? And when
And then we're going to go side view again.
the stars threw down their spears, and what?
Oh, and we're looking up, so we're gonna well, hang on, we'll back up a little bit. So we turn back here. So I'm going to turn back to front view. And now he's looking up.
Heaven with.
Okay, now we're going to have the close up from the top view.
Their tears? Did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb?
And then I'm looking down, so I'm going to back up a little bit. So just because when you do cuts, it's good to cut on movement. So just as the head starts to move down, that's when I'm going to go to the front view. And now that we're in front view, we can see that I'm looking down in the poem, and then we're going to go from the bottom up view.
Make thee tiger.
Okay, and then we come back up again. Just a second. And
Tiger.
Okay, so we're going to, again with movement. Okay, so we're coming up, starting to come up. Okay, so we're going to go to front view.
Tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What a mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful samurai?
Okay, and that's the end. Okay, so we've got this multicam shoot. We see where we start off front view, we have the little side view, and then we're back front view. Okay, things start getting crazy. Go side view again, and then back to front view, and front view for a bit, and then side view, and then we look up to the heavens, and then we have the basically talking to God, and then we head down, and now we're talking to the devil, and then we're back up again, and we finish off. And so you can see that, and we've done this all in the space of just about 10 minutes or so, you see. So this can be very handy if you've got a band and you've got multiple cameras on the band to sync everything up, and then have all this lovely switching. So another thing we can do is we can add transitions. So at the end, I'd like to have this fade to black. So there's a transition called fade to color, and in Final Cut by default it's black. So we'll have
full samurai.
Okay, that's okay, but let's zoom in on it, and let's have a little pause or a beat there at the end before we go to black.
Samurai.
Okay, there we go.
Did he who made the lamb make thee?
Okay. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to make this look really red, as if he's looking into hell. So I'm going to put in a couple of breakpoints here. Boom, boom. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to transition to it and then transition out of it. Just a second here. We're going to go T, which will, I'm going to press T, and that should mean that I can grab, well, let me zoom in. It doesn't seem to be allowing me to grab this transition the way I want. There we go. So I can move this transition here. Okay, now that I've got this bit here in the center, I'm going to use some of the effects. I'm going to adjust the color. Okay, so I'm going to go in under color, and you know how I said that you can get the red out? Well, you can put red in. So here we've got color, and I'm going to take the whole thing, and I'm going to add a lot of red, like that, and maybe, let's see, maybe a little bit less red here. I don't know. And what about this? If I make this sort of purpley red, I don't know. Yeah, let's make it bright. And we can also change the saturation. So I'm going to increase the saturation in here, so you can make it brighter or less bright. And this is the one I'm grabbing here is the mid-range. This is the blacks, so you can, the lower tones, you can change the saturation there. The saturation is the amount of color that you see. So desaturated is basically black and white. Fully saturated is bright color like that. Okay, so we've got that, and rather than just having it come on suddenly like that, I'm going to put in a lights transition. So you see we got bloom, we've got flash, and we've got flare. There's light noise, and I think I'm going to go with the bloom. We'll just see what that does. Okay, so that will make it come on in kind of a flash, and will flash out. Okay, so here we go.
Make thee! Tiger.
Okay, I think... Okay, actually, I think that's too much, the flash out. I'm going to go back to the dissolves, and I'm going to do a cross dissolve going out, which will make it fade from one to the next. Move this over here like that.
Thee! Tiger.
Yeah, I think I like that. Okay.
Make thee! Tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What a mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful samurai?
Okay, so that kind of shows you what you can do with a multicam clip. And again, we can just export the file. Boom, like that. Oh, sorry, I'm still in proxy. So just give me a second, and I'll get rid of the proxy files. Basically, they'll take well, maybe it's done. Just a second. So now let's do it again. Okay, next. Okay, multicam tiger poem, and we'll save. And in a few seconds or a few minutes, that should create a video. Okay, here we go. We've got the new video. Let's take a look at it. Tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night. What a mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful samurai? Yeah, I know it says symmetry here, but my teacher in high school told me that we had to say samurai in order to make the rhyme work. So I'm just going to go for it, okay? Okay. In what distant depths or skies burnt the fury of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? What the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What dread clasp would dare its deadly terrors clasp? And when the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night. What a mortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful samurai? Okay, so now let's look at green screening. So I'm first going to make a folder, or as we call it in Final Cut, a new event. So it's just basically a new folder, and I'm going to call it green screen. We'll click OK. And then we'll go into green screen and we'll import some files. Okay, and I'm going to import this picture of a cherry tree and also this this video of me in front of a green screen. Just a second, I'll just show. There's a cherry tree and there's me in front of the green screen. Well, you can't see me yet, but there I am. Okay, and we'll import. Okay, and I'll make a new project or video. I'll call this let's see, cherry tree poem. This is another poem. Green screen. Video. Whoa, hang on. Okay, there we go. Boom. So now we have the cherry, and I'll just get rid of this untitled project here. Okay, so first of all, let's take the green screen, and we'll drag it down, and we'll set it in the we'll set it in the project or video. I'll go Shift Z so that it just to sort of spread it out and make it bigger so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And you can see by the sound here that the video starts about here. So I'm going to go Command B to split the clip at this point. This first clip with nothing in it is being selected, so I'll hit delete. Boom, make that disappear, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we've trimmed it down, and I'll select that, and I'll hit delete, and boom, that's gone too. So we've got this.
Loveliest of trees, the cherry now, is hung with bloom along the bough, and stands about the woodland ride, wearing white for Eastertide.
Okay, so that gives you an idea of what it's about. And you can see I've got this sort of green blanket thing behind me here. So what's going to happen is the software is going to make that disappear. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the cherry tree photo. So this is a photo of the cherry tree. And I'm just going to drag it. So we're going to expand this. So behind there, though you can't see it, there's a cherry tree. I'll just expand this a little bit further out so that it peeks out behind. So you see we've got this cherry tree picture. I'm just going to make this cherry tree picture a little bit bigger so it fills the whole screen. So you can see I've clicked on this little box which creates these handles on the side of the picture, and I can just grab the corner handle here and expand the whole thing like that. Boom. So it fills up the whole screen. Okay, now I'm going to take this back so that it lines up with the end there. I would like all this green to disappear so that you just see me and the cherry tree in the background. And there's basically there's basically some software here under masks and keying that will allow us to do it. So you see this green screen keyer here. So I just, you see how that makes what's behind me disappear? Just if you look at that very carefully. Well, I'm going to grab this thing and I'm just going to set it on top of this clip, and boom, you see that the green screen has gone away and we've got the cherry tree instead. Okay, so let's just, so now.
Loveliest of trees, the cherry now, is hung with bloom along the bough, and stands about the woodland ride, wearing white for Eastertide. And
okay, but you notice here, I'm just going to turn down the sound a bit. You notice here as I'm talking, right here in the corner, and in this corner here, there's a lot of funny things happening. And why is that? Well, I'm just going to go up here to the inspector, and if I click this one here, yes, there we go. We can see the visual part, and you can see the green screen green screen keyer in here. I can turn it off just by unclicking this. So you see what's happened here is in the corners, this is not well lit. So I've made a mistake during the shooting process. I haven't properly lit this, and because of that, we've got this crap happening in the side. So that's not good. But I wanted to show you masking as well. So why don't we just go with that? Why don't we just see if we can use a mask? So I'm going to add this mask here, boom, and I'm going to turn off the green screen here, and now we've got a vignette mask, you see. So I've got this mask around me that's sort of oval shaped, okay? And so this is another there's different kinds of masking. You can have masks that will kind of cut you out, and so they'll kind of behave like a green screen without a green screen, a real green screen. But in this case, this is a vignette. So this gives a vignette. This is a vignette mask. It gives the appearance of a vignette. And what I can do with this vignette mask is, you see, I've got it over here. I can make it bigger, smaller, and I can make it bigger. Okay, and I can also let's see if there's. I thought there was something here. This is the center, and this is the fall off. Yeah, so I guess I'm kind of stuck with the shape of it. Let's see, center. Yeah, so I'm kind of stuck with the shape of it. But you see, with this vignette, it will cut off a lot of this. I'll make a lot of this funky stuff that's going on. And what I can do is I can take the another thing I can do is I can click on the video, and I can make the video of me a little bit bigger, like this. And that will tend to push things to the side. So now what I can do is I can turn on both the green screen and the keyer together, and the green screen will now get rid of the green. Maybe there's still a little bit of problem with a bit too much black here, but I've managed to cut off quite a bit of it and sort of push it off to the sides. Let's just see how that works. Okay, so and we'll watch this. Okay, well, it's still there a bit, but it's improved. And so anyway, just for fun, I'm going to turn up the sound again, and let's just watch this.
loveliest of trees, the cherry now, is hung with bloom along the bough, and stands about the woodland ride, wearing white for Eastertide. And of my 70 and 10, 67 of them won't come again. Take from 70 years that age score, it only leaves me 3 more.
Now you see, I seem to be having problems around my hair as well. You've got options here. You can fill holes a little bit. You can also increase the edge distance. You can do things with the color selection. You can increase the fall off and the luma, or the chroma roll off and the luma roll off, and that might make things a little. You see, that might make things a little better, but then in certain instances it might make things worse. So maybe okay, that's making that worse. So we want that to go away. Maybe this, oh, that's making that worse. Okay, so let's see if we can, okay.
Since to look at things in bloom, 3 years is very little room. About the woodland.
Oh, let's see if we can, okay, and we've got matte tools here that soften. Okay, we've got erode. Well, there's all sorts of, and we've got spill suppression here, spill contrast. Let's see, we could, oh, okay, that's not helping. Okay, we've got soften. Okay, so we could soften, and then we got shrink, expand. Okay, but then I'm getting fuzzy. So let's see, or that's the softening making me fuzzy. And what about erode? But anyway, there's adjustments you can make. You can also adjust the colors here. Okay, this is very close to this is green, and it looks like we've got it very close to the center here, which means will accept quite a bit of black.
To see the cherry hung with snow.
Ah, well, maybe another, yeah. So anyway, that gives you an idea of stuff you can do with green screens. Now, there's other interesting things you can do in video editing, and one of them is to add, interesting backgrounds and stuff, and effects. So, for instance, we can add rays. I'm just going to stick in rays in behind the lady here. So we'll see that, okay, she's got rays in behind her. We can also put in like glimmer. Let's see, I'll just put this down like this, and it should ask me to replace. Boom, we'll replace. And so now there's a sort of a glimmery, shimmery thing happening. We can also put in clouds, for instance, behind her. So you can have hang on, where did our clouds go? There we go, we got clouds, I hope. Okay, there we go. Okay, there, we've got clouds. So she's got a cloudscape happening behind her. Okay, where can you go to learn about video editing? Well, there are tons of ways you can learn about video editing. There's film school, there's night school courses, there's online courses, there's YouTube videos that will explain things to you. You can do Google searches, and you'll find websites and information to help. And often the AI in the Google search will just, like if you've got a particular problem, it will often just tell you what the solution is. It's marvelous. There's also workshops, there's clubs you can join. You can ask AI, ask ChatGPT, how do I do this? How do I do that? You can also experiment on your own, just try things out. Now, my suggestion for learning video editing, it depends on what you want to do. So if you just want to do simple stuff like trimming a video, well, maybe YouTube Studio or your in-camera editor or your cell phone is good enough. And so there, all you really need to do is watch a YouTube video on it, or go online and find maybe a very short course or something to help you. And then there's like simple editing software like iMovie on Mac, or what is it, Shotcut or Shotput or whatever it was on Windows. And there again, there's probably YouTube videos or short online courses that will help you. So that's if you want to just do something simple. If you want to do something more creative, then you're probably looking at professional software. And my suggestion, and you're also looking at more deeply into the process. So my suggestion is that you do in-person courses And you start with a course that will be an introductory video course that will show you the whole video process, from planning the video to shooting the video and framing it and adjusting the color and all this sort of stuff, and of course editing it. And there's very good courses that will take you about 6 weeks or so to do that. And then once you've done that and you've got that under your belt, then you can do in-person courses on just editing and various kinds of editing software that are out there. Now, this doesn't mean that doing in-person courses doesn't mean that you can't do online courses and watch YouTube videos as well. And in fact, I suggest that you do that. You do both the in-person and the online stuff. But with the in-person stuff, I find that just being around people that are interested in video work and video editing allows you to learn a lot of things through osmosis, which is interesting, and will give you a sense of camaraderie and inspiration that definitely helps. But also the online courses are important too. So and exploring on your own, doing your own experiments, and joining clubs and actually doing video projects is a big help. So those are my suggestions for learning how to do videos. From the easy, simple stuff where you just do a little bit of you just use simple software and do a little bit of online stuff to learn it, to the more creative stuff where you use more professional software and you invest time and money and energy into doing both in-person and online courses. So that's the end. If you made it this far, I congratulate you. I hope you didn't find this too overwhelming. If you have any questions or concerns or would like to reach out to me in some way, I'm in the directory of PMN. So if you're a member, you can go in and look me up. And don't hesitate to email me or call me if you have any questions. Thank you very much.